Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, before we get started, if you could give me a like, share, thumbs up, comment. Don't forget the subscribe and notification buttons. I would appreciate it. Happy Sunday, everyone. How's everybody doing this weekend? Hopefully everybody had a fun and safe weekend. The weekend's not over yet, so we still have today to do our rest and relax day or finish up those chores we didn't get done. Depending where you are, we're kind of having some crappy weather where I am. It's rainy and miserable, and it's supposed to go all day. So it's a good rest and relax and veg day. It's definitely needed. For today, we have a, let me find it here. We have a quote, and I thought it was perfect. Since it is Self-Care Awareness Month, and I thought it would be right to do a self-care Sunday. I don't think we're going to do the whole video like this, but this is actually a good quote to get us started. Drink water, keep your nails and toes done, go shopping, buy yourself flowers, spoil yourself, chase your goals, go out to eat, take trips, dress up, try different hairstyles, have more talks with God, take more pictures, stay away from negative energy, surround yourself with people who have your best interest, and choose you. I think the most important part out of all of that was probably the last sentence, and that was choose you. Choose you and your peace over everything, always. Of course, besides, I'm not talking about family, and you know that, but give yourself some love that you show everybody else. You're deserving of it just as much as anyone else. So we need to remember that. I think we pour from an empty cup more times than we like to admit, or more times than we even know. We don't realize that we are depleted until it's too late. And until we are feeling the effects of, you're just exhausted and your brain and body is begging you just to give it a little bit of attention. And we have to listen sometimes, and it really sucks. And I know this, but one of the reasons that I say that is so it's raining. And even before I got out of bed, I knew it was raining. Like, my body told me it's raining. I'm like, okay. So I know that today I have to go a little easier on myself. Am I happy about it? No. Do I feel guilty? Not really, because it's Sunday and it's a day of rest anyway. So that's my excuse. And now I don't feel guilty. And I'm just going to have a nice, peaceful Sunday. Little bit about today. Today is National Roller Coaster Day. I don't know, guys. I am not a roller coaster person. I'm afraid of heights. I don't even like the Ferris wheel. That thing scares the shit out of me, especially when you're at the top and that thing is rocking. Me and the Ferris wheel and roller coasters, we don't do good. But if you do, have at it. Go to amusement park, get on a roller coaster, ride it as many times as you want, and have a ball. Today, I thought it would be a little bit different. Did you ever see their open-ended, thought-provoking questions that you can ask somebody, and they really have to think about it? There's like, I don't know, about 150 to 200 questions you could ask somebody. But I glanced over some, And I'm thinking it would be interesting to go over some of these. I have not read through them. So I'm walking into this blind. So I'll say the question, I'll give you my answer, but let me hear some of your answers too. And let's see where we rank here. So the first one is, if you could change one core personality trait, what would it be? For me, I would say I'm a grudge holder. Um, I'm getting much better at it, but that's probably the worst thing. Let it go. It ain't worth it. Um, what makes you truly happy? That my friends and family are happy and healthy, and that I have peace. When was the last time you felt lost? Well, this is interesting. I guess we could say every day, right? No, just joking. I don't know. I think I'd have to come back to that one. That one I got to think about. The next one, what is an absolute relationship deal breaker for you? Well, there's many. Don't be a dick. Don't be narcissistic. Don't cheat. What is your biggest, best green flag? I don't know if they mean in other people or myself. Um, in other people, I would have to say consistency. For myself, I'll be helpful in any way I can. Maybe. These are hard when you actually, you have to sit down and think about it and you're like, I don't know. Have you ever had one of your worst fears happen? Yes, I have. What would you do if you knew you would not fail? I don't know. I'd have to say it would be something with education. Um, I don't know what degree I would go with. I always wanted to be a drug and alcohol counselor, but I know I could do the schooling. I don't know if I could do the job because it's just too personal for me. I don't know. What's your earliest memory? Hmm. I think it would be, I don't know. I have many of them, but it would have to be like with my mom or my brother. Um, oh no, got to think about that one. What negative self-talk do you struggle with? Oh, this is a good one. So, this one I would have to say, we were actually talking about this last night, and one of my friends had asked me if I was seeing anyone, and I said that I was not. And I explained that, with the stomach issues and stuff, it's just not fair to someone to bring them into that and drag them through it. It's bad enough that I don't know when it's going to happen, and I don't want to put anyone else through that. It's not fair. Um, so I would probably have to give myself a little bit more credit than I do, but and maybe take that chance, but it's still not fair to the other person. So I don't know. Um, how would you define or describe commitment? Hmm. Um, being there for each other. Putting that person, making that person feel like they're a priority and they're important in your life. I don't think it's difficult. I think a lot of people have a struggle with doing it, but it's not hard to do. I just think that people bring their excess baggage into a relationship that has no business being there. That's my thought on it. How do you actively try to achieve personal growth? Well, I think that doing this podcast, I'm not comfortable with being in front of a camera, which is why my face isn't up there. Um, I don't know how comfortable I feel in back of the camera either. And that's why I said before that I don't edit this. If it is, it's very limited. You hear all the the midlife brain, you hear it all. There's no reason to edit and filter that out. I've said before, I am not perfect and I am human just like everybody else. And I think that's important to show that. Do you ever feel like a failure? I think everybody does. What quality do you value most in a friend? I think for me, when you can be yourself around them, um, they just accept you for the mess that you are. And they're probably a mess too, and that's okay. And then you can be two messes together, and then that's that. What was the best era of your life? Oh my. This is a tough one for me. I'd have to say 20s, although I would change a few things in there. Yet I would like to say 40s because of being, for it being peace, but a lot of things changed in my 40s. So I don't know if I would want to go back and start my 40s all over again. I don't know. I'd have to say 20s. Keep me in my 20s. What is the one thing people misunderstand about you? That I'm unapproachable. It's the RBF, resting bitch face. Gen X has it. Can't help it. Um, what do you find unforgivable, if anything? Don't screw with my family. That's it. Do what you want to me. If you do it to my kid or my mom, game over. How do you comfort yourself when you're upset? I stay to myself. I will hibernate and I isolate and seclude myself. Is it healthy? Probably not, but it works for me. I need to be by myself and go through my thoughts, figure my shit out, cry if I have to. I will emerge when I have everything figured out, and I will figure it out. I just need time for it to process in my brain. Do you like to be alone? Yes. What's your biggest insecurity? I don't like that I'm not reliable as I once was. What is your favorite thing about being a woman? I don't know, girl power? That one I don't know. Um, what's more difficult, saying you're sorry or someone saying they're sorry to you? Probably me saying I'm sorry. I don't find it difficult. Um, but I can only speak for myself and not for anyone else there. So, um, what's your definition of healthy? Well, this is a good one for today. Physical and mental health. You know, I actually just talked about this on Friday with I had a doctor's appointment. It was just for my thyroid. It was just a thyroid check, no big deal. And we were talking about, blood work and things like that, and about how if you put me on a chart, I'm not a normal person. You can't put me on the chart and have my levels be acceptable to what a doctor says. You can't do it. I'm just weird. Um, and we talked about that for a little bit. And I said to him, I said, I go by how I feel, not what's on the chart. And I think that's so important that everybody is so different. And not everybody's going to fit in that square. Not everybody's going to fit in the box. Not everybody's going to fit in the chart. And I think that we need to remember that. Um, so I think that when I think of healthy, yeah, it's your physical and mental health, but the first thing that I'm asking you, and any of my friends will tell you, when they're like, "Oh my gosh, I got this blood work back and it was horrible," or this or that. Okay, but how do you feel? And if you feel good, you know what? It doesn't matter what the numbers say. Go by how you feel. Everybody's different. By the way, I'm not a doctor. Um, I should put this disclaimer out. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV. And this is not for medical advice. This is just for chatting purposes. If you could have every bad memory erased, would you? Oh, not everyone, but some of them. Do you think you're brave? In some aspects. How do you deal with conflict? It depends. It depends if it depends what it's about. If it's not worth my time, I'm going to walk away. But if it's defending myself or my friends, we're going to have a discussion about it. But otherwise, I don't know, not worth it. What's the most difficult thing you've ever had to tell someone? I do know what this one is. When they were sick and I had to tell them it was okay for them to go. That was rough. If you could choose between living a long, ordinary life or a short life filled with distinction, which would you choose? Probably the long, ordinary life. think. Maybe. I don't know. I got to think about that one. What has made you feel ashamed? The fact that I stayed in a marriage that I should have left years and years before, and I don't even know if the marriage should have even happened. How much personal space do you need in a relationship? A lot. What makes you feel vulnerable? When somebody's in my personal space too long that don't belong there. What's the best decision you've ever made? Oh, I have many. Um, it was leaving that toxic divorce. It was leaving that toxic relationship. It was raising my daughter on my own. I have many, and I am um, I'm proud of all that. Is there anything too serious to be joked about? Yes, there is. Are you more like your mother or father, and how so? Definitely like my mom. I would like to think that I am strong willed and have my mom's genes in me. Come from a strong line of women. So hopefully I got that gene. I would like to think that I did. I say I do, but I could be a sissy and don't know it. And nobody told me yet. So we're going to go with that. What does a great day look like to you? Get up in the morning, feel great, get some work done, um, meet with friends, or, just go out for the day. That's perfect. Do you think you're tough on yourself? I don't know if I'm tough on myself, but I can tell you that I'm tougher on myself than anybody else can be. So if you're going to get on my shit, don't, because I've already done that for you. If you could live a totally different life, what would it look like? Oh, my goodness. Um, I'd have enough money to live comfortably. My health would be perfect, and me and my daughter and my mom would travel. How important is family to you? You don't have family, you don't have much. Have you ever been so happy you cried? Yes, I did. Actually, I think the last time that that happened was when my daughter graduated nursing school. I was so proud of her. What's your definition of beauty? Hmm. So mine would be someone's personality and how they treat others. What is one thing that totally blows your mind? There's a lot of things. There's too many to list. Can't do it. Do you express your emotions or suppress them? Most of the time, they are suppressed unless I get pissed off or I start crying. Then I can't help it. Um, the pissed off thing, that takes a little bit, but when it comes out and I've had enough, then it's time. But um, I would have to go with most of the time they're suppressed. Do you daydream a lot or tend to stay present in the moment? Daydream. Have you ever been in a toxic relationship? Oy. Do I really need to answer that? Okay, here's one. How do you practice self care? So, the way that I do it, and I think we talked a little bit about this before, but um, mine's very simple. Um, in the mornings are slow go for me. So, in the morning, do my own thing, take my own time, things like that, make sure I have a good breakfast. Um, we do our pamper time, and it may only get done once a week, where, you're really, really focusing on, your skincare routine. And, um, yes, my face gets washed every day and, you get your shower every day, but I'm talking about like, a good soak in the tub and you're just vegging and relaxing and really moisturizing and everything. And also knowing when I need to shut it down. It's knowing, I'm at mental capacity and I need to take care of me now. So that's what I would say about that. If you could live forever, would you want to? No. Nope. What are you proudest of? I can say who I'm proudest of. Um, that would be my daughter. What am I proudest of? In myself, I started over. I started over late in my 30s and didn't think I'd have to, and I survived it. What's the biggest lie you've ever been told? I love you? I'm sorry, guys, but that's funny. Ay, ay, ay. We gotta find humor, right? Uh, if past you could see present you, what would they say? Oh my. Oof. What the hell happened to you? I think that's what it would be. What the hell happened? Um, that past little girl or that girl in their 20s would not know the person I am today. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. What's the best advice you've ever been given? I've said this before and I will say it again. When I was going through my divorce and I had left, I met a friend for lunch and or breakfast, and she knew I was in a bad way. And she said, "You have 24 hours." And I said, 24 hours for what? She said, "You can cry, scream, throw a fit, do whatever you need to do today. You have 24 hours to get it out of your system. So you go home, do what you need to do, get it out of your system, and tomorrow morning, you get your shit together." Best advice ever. Um, what was the most intense experience of your life? Either childbirth or the first time I was transferred to another hospital from a local hospital. I needed the main campus. That was scary. Um, has social media improved or impaired society? Impaired. This is another thing, and it goes back to the self care thing too. Put your phone down. Um, Social media is good for a lot of things, but again, and this is another thing that I said before, when MySpace and Facebook came out, everybody's nose went down to their phone and nobody ever looked up. They just didn't. They just kept looking down. And people don't talk anymore. They go online or they comment online. Um, there's no such thing as a phone call or communicating in person. Everything's online. And I do think too that the saying goes, if you were face to face with that person, you wouldn't be saying that to them. You're hiding behind a keyboard. So I think that, people got comfortable with being behind that keyboard as well. And because if they would say half of that stuff to somebody's face, it wouldn't go well. So, yeah, I would have to say that it's not the best thing. If you had a free pass to do one thing without suffering the consequences for it, what would you do? Hmm. I don't know. I'm not going to say it on here. I know what I do, but I'm not going to say it. What's your favorite conspiracy theory? Hmm. This one, I would have to say population control. I think that every few years it seems like there's a wicked new strain of something. Look at COVID, guys. Um, just different things that happen. I'm going to say population control. Yep, got to go with it. Uh, if you could, would you choose to be incredibly famous? Sure, just for a day. I don't want to. I don't want to be famous all the time. Do you believe in an afterlife? And if so, what is it? I believe that we go to heaven. Um, and I believe that we are at one with God then. If you knew you were going to die in 1 year, what would you change about how you're living your life? I would be doing and trying everything, legal and illegal. Just saying. What do you want to be remembered for? Hmm. Even when life got hard, I still tried. I may not have won. I may have done an epic fail, but at least I tried. We'll just do a couple more of these. What do you have faith in? God. How do you define success? How you treat other people. I don't know if success means, success to me has nothing to do with money. And for a lot of people it has to do with their career and money and um how far up the ladder you are. Some people think, "Oh, I'm the CEO and you're the janitor." No. Um the janitor is just as important as the CEO, if not more. Um CEO is just looking over paper. Anybody can lift a paper, do a janitor's work once. I can, well, I can't guarantee, but I can promise you that that CEO doesn't want to do that janitor's job. It's way more work than he's doing. So, success has nothing to do with money. I would say, like I said, the way that you treat others, the way your personality is, and success is just being grateful for what you have. Um, the belief that, if somebody gives you something, be grateful for it, even if it's something you may not particularly like or whatever. Be grateful they thought of you. They didn't have to. So if somebody does something nice for you, accept it. And um, like I said, just be grateful. When do you feel most free? At 4 o'clock in the morning. And I don't sleep. I don't know if you guys do, but I don't sleep well. And when I'm getting up at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, it is wonderful because it's just so peaceful. We're just going to go over a few more of these. What defines your identity or who you are? Nobody defines my identity because I am who I am. I am me. Do you believe in fate? Yes, I do. Um, can people ever really change? I think they can. I think it's hard for them to do, but I think they can. What does home feel like to you? Safe, peaceful, comfortable. If you could only love or be loved, which would you choose? Oof. Um, I don't know. It kind of is, I don't know. That one's selfish to me, kind of. Not sure. And we'll just do one more here. Do you believe there is life on other planets? Yes, I do. We can't be the only things out there. So that was just kind of a fun and something different to go over for a Sunday. What's up for your guys' Sunday? Hopefully, you have something good and fun planned, and the weather doesn't wreck your plans. Coming up this week for our listening pleasure, I believe we're going to go back into the Lindsay Clancy trial that will start up tomorrow. And I'm thinking maybe tomorrow or Wednesday, depending. We'll get another regular pod up. we'll see how it goes. But I just thought today we would do something a little bit different, have some self-care Sunday going on. Have me do some Q&A, and hopefully you'll join me and answer some of your questions. And those are tough. When you're on the spot like that, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know. And like I said, I looked at them, I glanced at some of them, but I was going through just as I was talking to you guys. So, um, a lot of pauses in there because it made me think too. Good questions though. So, all right. I hope everybody has a great Sunday. Don't forget, no ER visits. We ain't doing that. And have a great week, and we will talk soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.